is Tim Allen, like Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. It's the Monday after the big game, after the Giants took down the New Orleans Saints in the Dome. We're calling this Return to Thunderdome. Giants 27-21 over the Saints. Good all-around performance. Good win for this team. Someone predicted it. Someone said 31-27. I'm not going to say who, but he's a handsomely dashing fellow. But you know what? It's one win and 4. And that's what we need to focus on. And we need to take this one step at a time. We need to take this 1 week at a time because our schedule does not get any easier after this game. And I kind of want to break down the game a little bit first, but you have to look at what's coming. You have to look at what's coming up to get a fuller picture. We got Dallas in Dallas. We got the Rams at home. We got the Panthers at home. We got the Chiefs on the road. We got the Raiders at home, and we got the Bucks on the road. I said this in the stream, and I wasn't trying to be an ass about it, but I said I have a feeling that we're going to win this game. I gave my reasons why. Not going to get into it again. And then I said, but we also have the potential to go 0-6 over the next 6 weeks. And that still hasn't changed. But what has changed is Daniel Jones spent a game, and it is just a game. So everyone needs to just kind of relax a little. It's one game. It's his first 400-yard game ever, his first 300-yard game since week 17 of his rookie season. He had a great day, though. He came out with some confidence. He ran smartly, 4 for 27. He had the interception at the end of Hail Mary. That doesn't count. He went to Kenny, who was his target, who should be his target, for 6 for 116. Tony played a part, 6 for 78. He made some plays. Jones also wasn't sacked. And I think that is the issue that a lot of people do not look at. The offensive line played extremely well. They gave Jones a clean pocket for most of the game. They really did, except for the early part of the first quarter. John Ross, Mr. Glass, had 3 catches for 77. He had that big 51-yard reception. He alertly pounced on his own fumble in the end zone, which was fantastic. And then, of course, we have the standard. There was a drop by Evan Ingram. He was 5 for 27. And then it should have been a first down catch, but the pass was behind him. Let's be honest. And then we also had Kyle Rudolph, and he's still washed up, but we're not going to get there. He recovered Barkley's fumble in OT. That was basically a game saver. And Saquon Barkley, like I said, I had a feeling this week they were going to try to get him out in space. They were going to try to do things to help him be more explosive and more confident, and that's exactly what they did. But if you take a look at it from an offensive perspective, it was a really solid, good game. Now, I love it because you all have the Daniel Jones neophytes who are now like, Daniel Jones is the greatest quarterback since Phil Simms, Eli Manning, Fran Tarkenton all rolled into one, and we told you how great he was. This is how great he is. Well, okay, guys, it's one game. And I assume that these same Daniel Jones lovers are also saying the same thing about Jason Garrett. Because it was Jason Garrett's offensive game plan that allowed Daniel Jones to excel. So I assume, because I haven't gone on Twitter and checked, I'm trying to stay off Twitter. So I'm just automatically assuming everything they're saying about Daniel Jones are saying about Jason Garrett. That would just be a logical assessment. But there's a reason why they're called fans. Fans, fanatics. I think we remember that. I think we remember that conversation. Jason Garrett is a good offensive coordinator. He was an okay head coach. Daniel Jones may be a good quarterback, but we have to have more than a one-game sample against the Saints. That's it, plain and simple. Let's see what Daniel Jones does over the next 3 weeks before we anoint him the savior of New York again, because he could throw up a stinker against the Cowboys, the Rams, and the Panthers, and then Giant fans will be off the clock again. They'll be like, well, I told you he sucked. That's what we need. That's what we need to think about. This is a game, though, you can build on. This is a building game. The schedule may not allow us to have a building game, but this is a building game. Now, the problem is the defense. Jameis Winston was efficient. He wasn't productive. He was efficient. Alvin Kamara, 26 for 120. Even though he had no receptions and his longest run was only 10 yards, he still moved the ball at ease. And then they went on that big, 11 plays, 76-yard drive. Another clock eater. Tate Crowder is not Blake Martinez. We know that. We could see that. We could see the difference between the way they were running up the middle. We had no sacks, no pressures, no quarterback hits. You run into a good quarterback like Dak, like, the guy that plays for the Rams. I'm not saying Sam Darnold, but then you run into that guy that plays in the Chiefs. What's his name? Holmes. You got that Carr guy, and you got Tom Brady. We're actually going to be playing against good quarterbacks. And if we don't get pressure on these types of guys, it's gonna get potentially ugly. Leonard Hill ran over Leonard Williams. He basically took like 7 guys into the house with him. We are getting no pressure from the line. We are getting limited production from the interior line in regards to slowing down the run and letting them get into the second level. The good thing about Kamara only having the largest run was only 10 yards, was proving that Tate Crowder was making the stops at the second level. He was just making them further down on the second level. But we're still allowing too many guys to get through the second level. And that is something that we can't do if we want to continue what we're doing. That's what we have to focus on. The defense is still, it's funny to say, because the defense of all things was going to be the strength of this team. And in some ways, they still can't all get off the field, and the defense is more of a liability than anything. Right now is a liability at times. They cannot keep having these prolonged drives against teams. They just can't. It's not going to function well for us. And that's kind of what we need to look at. We did have a Dexter Lawrence sighting. He did play well today. He had a tackle for a loss. We did have a Dexter Lawrence sighting. Ojulari didn't get a sack, but he did make a big play. Graham Gano killed us with that missed field goal. He made 35 in a row, then he misses that big one. And then I love it when Vilma was talking, the announcer. They were like, well, we just jinxed him again. So we just said he's on a new streak 1 in a row. Because he said he made 35 in a row, then he missed. But the defense needs to get off the field. That's just what they need to do. They need to help our offense. And the offense needs to build up some continuity and consistency, which they did this week. You cannot fault Daniel Jones for this game at all. You can say Daniel Jones had a great game, which he did. He really did. But we need to focus more on figuring out the defensive issues, because nobody wants to talk about the defensive issues. Nobody wants to talk about that because it's a win. I'm the only idiot that brings these things up, just like I was the only idiot that brought up the salary cap, and everyone looks like they're being very astute by saying, oh, we have no salary cap next year. Yeah, I've been saying that for, before free agency? But what do I know? But we need to figure out, though, how to continue this on the roll. How do we keep this process? How do we keep moving this process into the next level? How are we going to beat the Cowboys at 425 and Big D? The offense is we're not going to get into it yet. We're going to revel in the win. We're going to believe that this team has the ability to move forward, and we're going to believe that this team is on a streak. We're 1-3. I think, we have an opportunity if Saquon Barkley continues to improve, if Daniel Jones continue, and I've said this before about Daniel Jones, he's got to look more than 7 yards down the field. And that's what he did. And that's why he was so successful yesterday. That's all there is. That's really the big reason. He's got to look more than 7 yards down the field. We talk about this all the time. And Saquon Barkley needs to trust his ability, trust his knees. And that's a big thing to ask him, because coming off that ACL, that's not an easy feat. Secondary has to play better. We have to find a way to generate a pass rush, and we need to find some linebackers. We need to put out like an ad. Linebackers needed. Please apply at the Giants. Poor KJ Wright would have been perfect on this team, but we're not going to get back into that. We're going to enjoy the win. We're going to revel in the win. Because you know what? It was a good win. It was a solid win. It was a comeback win. Is it a statement game for Daniel Jones' career? Who knows? It might be. But the problem is you don't know that. I don't know that. Nobody knows that. We have to wait to see what happens in Dallas. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, maybe subscribe, or definitely, you know what I mean? That'd be awesome.